welcome back to my channel. My name is Tatiana, and today I'm going to talk to you about why YouTube is compressing your videos so badly that they're looking horrible, especially if it's something with high motion, like a gameplay video. If you have a VTUBE model, you're going to want to know this, or your VTUBE model doesn't look crusty inside of YouTube's videos or live streams. And you're also going to want this if you have any type of movement in a video, even if it's a recorded video in real life. You're going to want to know this, especially if you've spent money on equipment to make your content look good, and then YouTube's making it look like trash. YouTube doesn't tell this to small creators. I recently found this out. Shout out to the video that I saw that explained this. I'm gonna link it down below. Big shout out to them, because this has been driving me crazy, and YouTube is not telling anybody about this. I think I have a reason why, but I don't think it's a good enough reason to hide this from small creators. So if you're a small creator and if you've been having trouble with this, be sure to stay tuned. I'll put timestamps down below. If you just want to know what to do to fix this, you don't care about why this is happening, you're like, Tatiana, I don't care, the timestamp will be down below, so you can go ahead and just look at the tutorial part of this section. But if you want to know why this is happening, be sure to stay tuned. If you enjoy this video and you find it useful, be sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and like the video. It helps out a ton, and hopefully more people can see this video. It can help out more small creators, because this has been driving me crazy for a long time, and I cannot believe that YouTube was doing this to my videos. When you take your video and upload it to YouTube, YouTube obviously uploads it, re-encodes it to go on their site. Most people know this. When you upload something, it's gonna get re-encoded. But did you know that there are two different encoders that they run people's videos off of? Larger creators automatically get the better encoder. Their videos will look better than yours all the time. Or if you're a small creator and you have a video really pop off and it's doing really well, you will get that encoder. It will somehow upgrade you to that encoder. Though I feel like if you've uploaded it and they've already compressed your file, how in the world is it just going to start looking better? I don't know. I don't trust that it's just going to upgrade it. I'd rather just be using the best encoder right off rip, because when people click on your content and you have a gaming video or some kind of video where there's lots of motion and it looks fuzzy, people are just going to click away. People do that. It's going to harm your videos. YouTube is not helping small creators know about this or deal with it. Now, you could say, well, Tatiana, using this better encoder could be really hard for YouTube to give it to everybody, which is fair, but I feel like, is it fair? Because if you're a small creator and you've spent a bunch of money, like buying, for example, capture cards, even if it's not an expensive capture card, you've spent your money to make these videos. You're putting your time and effort into buying the games, like playing these videos, making this content. Is it fair that they just don't want to put you on the better encoder? I don't know. You can decide that. I'm going to show you an example right now of what that looks like. Okay, so now we're here at a video that I have made private, okay? This is private because when I've uploaded this video the first time, it was super compressed and looked really bad, even though it is a 1080p video. It is an HD video. I recorded it in HD. It was exported by me in HD, and then when it went up to YouTube, it was supposed to be in 1080 HD. But it is on the wrong encoder. The way you can test if a video or live stream, and you can do this anywhere on YouTube, is using the higher end encoder or not, is by right-clicking and pressing Stats for Nerds. When you press this, it's gonna come up with this box here, and this box actually tells you all the information about the upload. The codec is AVC1. This is the lower end encoder. This lower end encoder is what everyone gets, okay? And it is what is compressing and destroying high movement videos. Here you can see, this is the video. It's an ASMR video. It was a Mario Kart video of the new stuff, and you can actually see there's some pixelation happening around here a little bit, and it is in 1080 right now. Like if I were to, like, here, let me move me, it is in 1080. Let me show you. It's in 1080, so there's literally no reason for it to look like this. It doesn't even look like this on my computer on the actual file. If we go to the first race that I ran, you can actually see where the movement is going to basically destroy the way that this looks, even though it's in a smaller box. So you see, this looks actually okay right now. You're probably like, hey, that actually doesn't look too bad. It looks okay. It's still a little bit fuzzy, but watch what happens as soon as I start to actually play the game. Do you see how pixelated this has become? Even the actual game, if you look at the edges of the hat, it's extremely, extremely pixelated. And this is a 1080, this is an HD video that I uploaded. It does not look like this. It does not look like this on my computer. So I had to re-upload it. This is the actual video that is uploaded on my channel right now. This video is now, I'll move myself again. This is at 1440/60. Now it's still a 1080 video. It's the same exact video. I uploaded the exact video okay? All I did was when I exported it, I made it a 1440p, which is a 2K video, okay? It took a long time to export. It takes a lot longer to do this, but if we go ahead and press stats for nerds, now it's running on what we're going to say is the higher end encoder. It is running on VP09. This encoder is not going to completely destroy high movement videos. If we go and look at this video now, let's go to the first race that we just looked at, you're going to see a big difference. You can already see a pretty big difference in the way that it's looking, just in general, like even without movement. But as soon as there's high movement, it does not look nearly as bad. I'm going to try and cut them out and look side to side so you can see. But this looks so much better. Around the hat looks better. It is still a little pixelated because, again, I recorded this like actual video in a lower bit rate. I've now made the bit rate up to 18,000. I'll show you guys how to do that. But this is an example of how these two encoders are like, look how different this is. Do you see how different? That is horrible. That is horrible. This is the low-end encoder and the codec, and this is the high-end codec. See, there's a huge difference. It's a huge difference. Even if we put this in 1080, let's put this in 1080 just to make them exactly the same. There is a huge difference between these two videos. And it wasn't my fault. I've uploaded so many videos that ended up looking like this first one, and people would click away. In fact, this video was up for about, I think, like 10-15 hours. People were clicking away really quickly on this video. When I uploaded it again, okay, I re-uploaded and it was the higher quality. It actually has done pretty good on my channel. Yes, my channel views are low. Okay, I'm fixing it. I don't want to talk about it. But the click-through rate was much higher because people, or sorry, is it the click-through? Whatever the retention rate. I'm talking about retention rate. Well, the retention rate was much higher because people were staying and watching it because it didn't look like garbage. This is what I mean by YouTube is not helping small creators. This is harming your channels if this is happening to it, because people are not going to stay to watch something when they're so used to seeing everything in high definition. If I've spent the money on a 1080 capture card from Elgato, you bet I want my videos to look like they're being recorded and exported at 1080. So now you might be wondering, well, Tatiana, this is great. Like, this is crazy. What can I do to fix this? Well, I'm going to go through the tutorial part of the video now. If you skipped, welcome. This is how you do it. If you record in OBS, which is what I do, I'll show you for both the Elgato and OBS. I'll show you both. They're a little different, but pretty much similar. You need the bitrate to be very high. So what we're going to do is switch over to OBS first. If you record gameplay and things in OBS, I'm recording this video right now in OBS. I'm going to show you what you can do. Okay. So you've opened OBS. This is going to look kind of like a mirror effect for a second while I show you this. But what you're going to want to do is go into your OBS and you're going to want to click settings. Now I'm recording at this moment, so this might look weird for a second, but you're going to hit settings and it's going to take a second for this to open. Okay. So I think you can see it. Yeah, you should be able to see this. So you click on settings and it's going to go to general. You want to go to output and you're going to want to go to recording. You're going to want to make sure this bit rate is high. You're going to want it pretty high. Depending on your PC's capabilities, this, you kind of got to test what it's going to do. While you're recording, sometimes it might come up and say the encoder is too high, things that, or maybe things are like not working properly. You might get a warning, but you can play with this. I'm going for 18,000 kilobytes because I've actually upscaled my entire thing to 1440p because I also wanted my live streams to look better. And this also applies to live streams. This applies to both, actually. I've done tests with it and my live streams have looked better by upscaling. It's crisper. It doesn't look as compressed. It looks way better. So, take that, but it's hard to live stream at 2K. But if you're going to do your bit rate for a video, you want it to be high. Mine's at 18,000 because I just don't want to ever have to have my videos be, just looking so rough. So that's why it's so high. But I would say anything from 10, like maybe 10K, like 9K up should be fine. This just helps your actual video be a little bit crisper and have a higher bit rate, especially when there's motion. You want it to be high. So make that higher. That's the first thing you can do to make the actual video record at a higher bit rate. If you try to record with an Elgato capture card, then you're probably using their 4K program. I'm going to open that now and then show you what you can do to make sure your bit rate's higher inside of that program if you record videos out of there. Okay, so you should be able to see this now. This is the Elgato 4K capture utility. If you have a capture card with Elgato, you're probably going to be using this. I have an HD 60S, so it's one of their, it's not too old, but it's a couple years old now, and it records at 1080 HD. So what you want to do is go up here into preferences, and then you're going to want to go over to recording. And here, this is the bit rate. You're going to want this high. I've turned it up higher. Sometimes it, like, as you can see, the higher it is, the higher the file will be an hour. So if I record 1 hour of video, which I often do, it's gonna be 22 gigabytes. So please be aware of that. The higher your bit rate, the bigger your video file, but it's gonna look better. So play around, get the best you can get with your setup. Play around with how much you think your PC can handle. I have a 3080 in mine, and this is just about as far as I'm gonna go. Like, I'm not gonna go higher than like a 50, 51 because I think it's just way too much. It's just way too much for my computer. So that's how you can fix that inside of 4K capture utility if you have an Elgato capture card. But most capture cards and things will have this ability to like fix your bit rate so that it can be higher. Now we're going to go into Premiere Pro, but this will apply to Filmora, Film Express, any other type of like editing software you have. You will be able to export with the settings I'm going to show you to make sure that your videos are 1440p so that YouTube registers that and gives you the best codec that it can, so that your videos aren't getting compressed. Okay, so let's see how good my computer runs with this being open, because this program, okay, Premiere Pro, like, this stuff takes big chunks out of my like CPU and stuff. So let's see what this does while we're recording here. If there's any hiccups, I apologize. But here inside of your software, all you got to do is, you know, do what you would normally do to export. For Premiere Pro, you're going to go up to File, and you're going to go ahead and hit Export, and you're going to hit Media. This is what you would do if you were going to basically upload so that the video file would basically be 1440p, so that the codec is going to pick up, or so that it would be the right codec, so that you're going to have a good thing. So all you're going to do is click on Export Settings like we did, Media. What you're going to do is make sure you're on H.264. If you have like the right card, just make sure you're on that. Typical settings you would use, I click YouTube 1080 Full HD to start. You would rename it. We're not going to bother because I'm not actually going to be exporting this. And then what you want to do is make sure you're at Render Maximum Depth, Render Maximum Quality, or Render Quality. Change this to 5.1 or 5.2. And then you're going to want to go down and change this to 2 VRB to pass, and you're going to want to make this be like at least, I don't know, I turn this thing to like, oh, sorry, this thing is like 30, and then this thing is usually I make like 25, something like that. You want it to be pretty high. This is changing the bit rate, so you're making sure the maximum bit rate is like 30. Remember the other one I was making, like when your actual video is making it be around 50 and stuff like that. This impacts so long how long this is going to take to like export. So it's up to your system settings, but you do want this to be pretty high so that it is obviously making the bit rate higher so that you're getting the best quality. And then what you're going to want to do is go back up, and I did it in this order because if I try to change the width and height, like the resolution immediately, like Premiere Pro will start throwing up like, you're not allowed, it's not big enough. So go make sure all those settings are changed, and then you can do this. Make sure you type in 2560, and it defaulted to 1440 when I did that, but then you would just type in 1440, and that is now the right resolution. And you can see in the output file here that that is now the right resolution. It's at 60 frames, all that stuff, the target, you know, bit rate, everything like that. You can leave the audio settings because they're generally going to be fine. This is strictly in video settings, and you can hit export or queue, and then it would export in a media encoder like this. If you specifically use this program, that's how you do that. Then when you do that, YouTube will recognize your video at 1440p and give you the better encoder. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it helped you out. If it did, again, please let me know down below. I would love to hear if this helped you out with your videos. It is extremely frustrating, especially when you've spent money and time making these videos, trying to make them look good, and then YouTube is just not giving you a good option and not even telling you. I would never have known that this was a problem until I found this video, and I've searched this problem before. I have looked before on their official things. I couldn't find anything about this like encoder thing. If you go to any large channel with large views, they automatically get this, even if they upload in 1080, which makes their videos look good. Again, like I said before, it's gonna hurt, might make your computer run a little slow. It definitely takes about 4 hours for a full upload from the time I'm exporting to the time it is uploaded to YouTube, and then it takes like a day to fully like become HD because it takes so long. But in my opinion, it's worth it. If I've spent the money on these capture cards and I'm trying to make the best content I can, it is worth waiting for me and taking the extra time to do these things to make my videos look the way they're supposed to look, the way that I've worked hard to make them look. I can't believe that YouTube does this, and that for years I thought I was doing something wrong, or that's just how it was, when it's just because they didn't deem me making videos that people wanted to watch, which could be true. I don't know, but I would rather get the chance that it looks great, and then I know for sure it's because the content was bad, not just because it didn't look good. So that's it for me. I hope this video helps you out. Make sure that you stay safe, hug your loved ones, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye.